Blessings. Welcome forward to Reasonings right here at Trail Life. I'm your host, the Great Owl, right here on Trail Life Television Network. Yes, it's so awesome and beautiful to be back doing a video. Yeah, surviving the storms. Yeah, victorious in the process, in the journey of my faith, of my life. It's a long one. It's good. So today's current offering is going to be around maybe a psychological term that represents a state of being, a state of effort, I guess I could say, a deep sense of grounding, some say empirics, and the ontological. So, what is this I'm speaking about? I'm talking about the will to live. Now, there's a difference between the will to live and the existence, existing or being. Existing is the state of being created, hallelujah, and being present. So we are in this living matrix, this planetary system, and so we're existing here. Living is cognitive, conscious, and hence the will to live is a psychological term that is determined by effort and deep individual original thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So the will to live, as I'm seeing it currently, started for me years ago in my connections with the spiritual experiences I had as a child, and then coming into my creative mindset. I wanted to be like a black conscious spoken word artist, and so my will was telling me go out there and share this gnosis, this knowledge. However, at that time I wasn't too versed in the cultural understanding of how to represent my creative intentions or ideas, because I grew up a little sheltered from the culture. I was like more of the going to the library, reading, really intellectual, studying, listening to documentaries, watching documentaries, listening to them on the radio. I mean, watching them on television. We started with radio at home before we had television, right? So my will to live at first was around my deep curiosity, hallelujah, with existence, with life, with creation, with our place in life, and representing that in a cultural way as I got more conscious, and went into the musical environment and the musical scene. I was like, yeah. But then I got into a lot of issues as spirituality came in now, because a lot of my spiritual connections that I had during my teenage years now began to flood it into my early 20s, and now I left church and I was starting to find myself. And with the spiritual thing came a lot of what I call it now, like if the will to live was a engine, a mechanism that was pneumatic or compressed air, like a air compression, it really got deflated during that time, because where was the drive gonna come from? Where is the energy source to power this new spiritual mechanism? So I lost momentum, hallelujah, for a good number of years, And in between those years, I was, still trying to muster along, got into a group, was still trying to find myself and get oriented to my visions. However, I think that didn't really happen fully until maybe somewhere around about 2012. Because I think that year I had some really bad and good experiences, starting in 2011, coming into, Christ's awakening and hallelujah, beginning to journey, towards some form of, okay, resurrection, healing, because I was so broken and lost, because I lost the will to live. So, you know, how I stated it at the time, I said, I did not care to care, right? And when the Lord saved me, He said, you have to care to care. And so I had to change my outlook. And it took a while. And why is that important? Because we lose momentum along the journey of life. Because even though we're existing and we see other things happening, we're not just going to be satisfied by mere existence, because humanity has developed, this living system out of the planetary system. And so even though we might, question, push against some of the human systems, we are existing within a human system, existing within the divine system. Hallelujah. And as such, we still as humans have to go and study this human system to find the whole methodology, and the whole structure, how it functions, right? And so, as such, we have to kind of, have idea, concept, purpose, meaning, something that would motivate us. So, existence has so much things. We go with it, we always end up at places we don't necessarily want to be. Though it is going to be a place, and though, yes, there will be good and bad there, but yet still preferential good and bad has been developed through the human systems. So you have the cosmic that will facilitate the inspiration and the sense of, energy and well-being that you need to navigate the human system. So when you lose momentum now and purpose or drive, you tend to just be swimming around existence. And I would characterize it like being a log, just being drifted and drifting on the tide of any water body. And I would say the will to live would then be equated to navigability and having the ability to navigate on that log, making it able to become buoyant, maybe putting two pontoons to the side, making us a low level catamaran. But the essence of it is to have a rudder. And the rudder is the will, hallelujah, because that is the will to do, the will to direct your existence within the cosmic system and the human system, hallelujah. So I found that when I started coming into faith, I started repairing the motives, the motive and the motif rather, and the modus operandi, which was to have drive and meaning and purpose. But now it was correlating around Yeshua Mashiach, around Hebrew heritage, Aboriginal, Indigenous. I was getting so much information and now centering myself with what I was previously studying. And so I started getting this drive in my spirit now to go forward and begin to represent, more of what I was absorbing. And I guess Sila Media was in 2017, the biggest catalyst. In 2015, I was at a place called Media Zone, and that started me doing podcasts online, video and audio. And so I began to get more confident in my own space. I'd started from 2012, because I used to work on the radio, right, in that state of a mind, from before that. But then by that time, I was kind of more seasoned into my own ideology and into my beliefs, and I was kind of more getting, as I said, momentum. So I found that what kept me not failing into all of the obvious, money worries, concerns, relationship concerns because of lack of money, fidelity because of lack of money to some degree, and also, being so focused on something that others aren't necessarily seeing within their reality because it's still much into my own, design, my own feeling, my own purpose. It's creativity, it's still within the creative sphere, though it's informational, it's still within the creative sphere, and I still would have to go out there and do it for others to see that it could be done because poetry weren't drawing any great attention. We were the thinkers, the people like had something to say, but not many people listened, and I wasn't satisfied, hallelujah, with that. So I was just going to be moved to and fro by the poetry stream to just go to these shows every so often and just be limited by poetic devices and the metronome and the meter, quatrain, and whatever the lyrical, whatever the sonetic, whatever it is that they put together, right? That was trying to make themselves so salubrious and after a while becoming pedantic. But there were just all these little literary, mindsets that was really inhibiting purpose, and I couldn't just be drifting back and forth. I had to have a rudder and my log of destiny, making my pontoons and deciding to steer my destiny. And so I said, I'm not going to be stuck by this. I'm going to sing, I'm going to chant because it's inside of me. I always wanted to do it. And with the coming faith, I now had a greater source of inspiration and information. I prayed to the Most High. I said, give me songs, give me lyrics. Because now I found I wasn't just writing from my mind anymore, just on paper. It was coming from the heart. And so my will to live now was showing me amidst all of what wasn't going right, something, what wasn't going right in my outer world in terms of the society and the functions I was fulfilling there. Something was going right in my inner world, building a kind of a new template, hallelujah, as how I was going to function. Years later, I'm still not at the highest level of the template, but at least I'm beginning to actualize things that I knew I envisaged at that point in my life. And so the will to live took me out of caring not to care into caring to care. Hallelujah. By the grace of God. Now, when things happen, even though they cause issues within my thinking, why did this, how did this? But now there's an acceptance of that. Okay, so this is wrong. How do I mitigate? How do I continue thus beyond all of what has been? Because it now become a has been, not a will be or a is. So it has dimensions to it, and so now I can approach it dimensionally now. And this is all in the will to live, the will to approach information a certain way, to deal with information a certain way, to assimilate information a certain way. And it's all driven by feelings and thoughts and emotion. My faith becomes this, groundation, this rooting in the soil of the eternal spirit, of the presence of Yud He Vav He Yahshua Mashiach, as how it is actualized in me, right? And it gives me motivation. Not just reading the Bible, that is one part of it, but seeing the actuality of the Spirit, hallelujah, operate within real life, real time, and real experiences, and then being able to, absorb that knowledge into myself. Because I am in this world also absorbed of the dark stuff as well. So now the light has to be there to purge out this dark stuff and to be able to enable something more beautiful. And that also comes under the will to live. It's not just because there is God, because there is God and we still do not live the lives that we desire, because with it comes a certain discipline, as with devotion and faith. Hallelujah. So what I learned was that when I had a faith, I got increased energy. Call it passion, call it information, call it all of the above, call it a deep internal flow of spirit, of energy, of gnosis, of the divine, right? When I felt it, when I had it, when I began to immerse myself into it, I had more of a stream to pull from, more of a life source to pull from, hallelujah, to embody from. And as such, now my will got bigger. Now there's always dialectics to things. Things have delineations, dimensions to it, how things arrange themselves in the environment. So with faith comes similitudes. Similitude with appearing like other characters and other personalities. And there shouldn't be a strive to define that I am not this person, I am not that person. Because obviously, in time, people will see the differentials in a person's character and be able to appreciate it. And so my will to live has taught me to be very, very careful in how I assimilate information, how I express information, how I invite people into the space of my expression and my experience of this information, because it's not always on their wavelength or their frequency. And as such, I have to accept that it is my will. So people might not see your visions and they will compartmentalize your visions into their own limitations, right? And so this is why we cannot just be driven again just by the ebb and flow of energy. We have to be constructive, right, and deliberate, organized in how we order ourselves through the living cosmos. Hallelujah. That means the rudder, yeah, and my log for life, my pontoons, yeah, being able to navigate. Because so now reality becomes navigable. Now you know what you can, what you cannot. So you know the positive truths, what you ought to, the negative truths, what you ought not to, right? So now life becomes navigable. And so now from your gnosis, your knowing and experience, you can now approach things differently because 7 will approach the bar, yeah, but 6 will sink and only 1 will survive the deep. So the essence of it is that you got to be prepared to survive the deep, to make it back on the land, to be moored, and to be centered in your birthright. And so that drives me now to understand that obviously I have to navigate this, but never be confused in the authenticity of the original soul. Because I share spirituality or philosophy or religious experiences with others, never confine me or conflate me into the experience of another. God, that's not right. Hallelujah. It's just not right. See, so the will to live now is giving me the strength to define myself. And remember, it has to be progressive because even to represent my information, it's been years of struggles, ebbs and flow back and forth. But you should know, having a rudder, having that steering wheel, now having that drive shaft, right? Not just from the spirit and the mind, but also navigable in the mechanism of how I'm expressing. Now I understand, yeah, where I'm going, right? And I can now know, oh, I'm this far away from where I ought to be, right? And so music is one of those environments that there's always these supercharged things, but I've come to understand the sphere and the experience again, knowing how to navigate. Not to accuse, it's not to that. But remember, I'm coming from confused states or states that were polarized, and now that I'm equalized, I can understand, okay, so this is how we flow. Again, the will to live, I had to choose to see these truths, to actualize these truths, to want to manifest these truths in wholesomeness. Because there is cosmic law, and you cannot put over your feelings onto others or your expectations onto others, because cosmic law, hallelujah, will not recognize it. The law of God will not recognize it. So in order to have the right outcomes in your own perspectives, you have to, acknowledge these laws, adhere to them at the highest level and at the simplest level, right? And some would say them as morality and ethics. To a degree they are, but it's even higher because they are established and cannot, hallelujah, be moved, because some people don't even recognize some level of these laws until they become vaster in your mind, and now you are possessed of more information, and more information is attracted to you. Then you realize that there's a greater sphere of abilities, yeah, and of expectations. Too much is given, much is expected. Now you begin to see, hallelujah, these things, right? The bar gets higher because actually you can do better, right? It becomes a process now. So you know how to navigate the reality. So the will to live has shown me, and I'm imploring you, yeah, to learn how to understand yourself, what you're about, your path. Faith is awesome in that, and faith gives you strength in that. But you're going to have to actualize or embody. Let's put that word in, embody, meaning all these principles have to become behaviors that they are second nature. Hallelujah. So you're gonna have to imbue yourself with these principles and embody them. What are some of the principles? Well, number one, to really know yourself and know what you bring to the table. Let's use their terminology. Let's put my terminology in. Know what is your worth in terms of what is your resonance on the spectrum. Where do you fall in the spectrum of vibration? And hence, resonating in that spectrum will give you harmonization with who is before you, who is after you, who is close to you, and who is around you. Knowing your place, right? For me, I know I've always had an informational experience, and I think connected to indigenous and ancestry from ever since, hallelujah, I kind of knew that. And now with the growth into faith, right, and the expression of understanding, okay, there are many cultures, and I'm now in my mind thinking, I can't just limit myself truly to a skewed view of religion and religious perception. So then and again, when you're of faith, people again try to put you into these politically correct statements or whatever, right? And that is why again I have to navigate. So I'm not fighting against it as, oh, why is it here? I'm saying it is beautiful and awesome to resonate on a certain level of frequency to know that you can navigate this. You have your sails on your ship, and you're going to navigate the great oceans of life to find land so you can be birthed into existence, yeah, in the sacred nature of yourself, yeah, to be the true more of your existence, to honor mother and father, and then to actualize truth and fullness, yeah. So I implore you, I pray that you find that spark beyond all of the things that came to crush you, break you, confuse you, destroy you, that you find the rhythm, you find the tempo, you find the meaning. Like all of them have an energy stream from them, and you just find that energy stream and attract to it, yeah, and take back from it what it has taken from you, and you take that back with patience and confidence and divine will to live. It's so powerful, it's so intense, yeah, beyond all limitation. True religion, hallelujah, becomes awakened because they cannot tell where the source of energy is coming from. They cannot tap it. They'll try to do everything that they can, that they know how to, but it is beyond everything they know. So, in essence, faith is a part of that will. You cannot allow that will to fall. You can't allow yourself to be marginalized and stopped and confused and crushed just because he, she, them came against you. You have to be persistent, because this essence of the fulfillment of that fervency is unmatched, because no one can tell where that energy, that spirit that lifts you up comes from. Put it the next way, no one can tell God how to act, hallelujah, on your behalf. And when the Most High acts on your behalf, believe it or not, all of these stumbling blocks, these things that seem insurmountable, gets mounted, yeah? And then they say, well, I pitch my flag because I surmounted, yeah, this mountain. I transnavigated it. Yeah, I circumnavigated it. Right, so here I am now upon the mountaintop, surveying all that I see, and yet still I know what I have not seen is even, hallelujah, greater. Greater in the spirit of the Most High God, Yod He Vav He. Yeah, spirit of the true and living. Will to live, that unceasing, unburning desire, energy, essence, spirit beyond passion, in the pneumatic, in the intention, somewhere within the ontological nature of your being. Yeah? Therein is this awesomeness. Therein is this mastery. Therein is this trueness that needs a spark, yeah, of divine fervency in faith to just expand, yeah, expand, yeah, and experience truth, love, and fullness of being. Yeah, so in essence, on the path, on the journey, take that deep breath, centralize, relax, organize, focus, and then act. The essence of your being will permeate everything. Everything is not just limited to what is in front of you and what you can see. Everything means everything. And acknowledging yourself in everything and where everything else is in you, in relation to you, as you, then you'll see how it works. And I know it. That's why I'm saying it to you. It's not an unknowing. Hallelujah. It's a knowing. It's nothing to do with perfection. It's a will to live. It's a knowing that you want to live, beloved. You're going to live. And this is how you're going to live, by faith, by love, by truth, by overstanding, by kindness. So until next time, this has been the Great Owl. Reasonings right here at Trail Life and Trail Life Television Network. Reminding you to love, share, subscribe to the Trail Life Experience right here on Trail Life Television Network and on Sela Media. Continue to support the Great Owl on all my music platforms. Yeah, because I just started the musical channel. We have stuff coming out to keep, promoting the quality entertainment and information, spirituality, and in the music ministry, the Spirit of the Most High, as well as in the creative works to continue on therapy and the path of healing and restoration, the retreats, yeah, Wisio mini healing sessions, therapy, just the people who commit, connect, yeah, and communicate. Yeah, this has been a great talk. Once again, yeah, blessings to you, yeah, on your path, on your destiny, fulfillment in love, truth.